U.S. airports braced for fresh protests against Donald Trump's, their president's temporary immigration ban, which a federal judge partially blocked by ordering authorities not to deport refugees and other travelers detained at U.S. borders. The ruling coincided with a wave of anger and concern abroad, including among U.S. allies, and rallies at major airports across the United States. Meanwhile, the U.S. president defended his decision to issue executive orders temporarily barring refugees from 7 Muslim-majority countries entering into the United States by describing the world as being in a horrible mess. Facing severe criticism for his decision, both within the U.S. as well as elsewhere, Trump took on Twitter once again to justify barring refugees from Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia and Yemen for a period of 120 days. The ban on refugees from Syria is indefinite, though. Some news that's breaking this minute. Outrage has built over Trump's Muslim ban. UK petition has asked to prevent Trump's state visit. This is the big news the world is tracking at this point of time, with the latest diktat that's coming in from the United States president over how some states have been banned from their citizens being immigrants to the United States of America. But let's go across to my colleague Paulomi Saha joining us with further details. Morning, Paulomi. We're looking at how outrage continues to grow with the latest diktat, the order that's coming from the United States government there after Trump has taken over. This is really not being received very well from its allies as well as other countries across the world.
The momentum seems to be growing against these executive orders which have been issued by the Donald Trump administration in the United States. What we're looking at over here right now, Akshay, is a petition which was started by an individual in the UK, a lawyer there, Graham Guest, who basically started this petition sometime in November last year. And the idea was to prevent Donald Trump from making a state visit to the United Kingdom, as he put it. The reason for this, he states, Donald Trump should be allowed to enter the UK in his capacity as head of the US government, that's all right, but he should not be invited to make an official state visit because it would cause embarrassment to Her Majesty the Queen. The details of why he says this is Donald Trump's well-documented misogyny and vulgarity. I'll try and bring that more into focus as well. The reason he says Donald Trump's well-documented misogyny and vulgarity disqualifies him from being received by Her Majesty the Queen or the Prince of Wales. Therefore, during the term of his presidency, Donald Trump should not be invited to the United Kingdom for an official state visit. So Donald Trump, he says, can visit the United Kingdom as head of the US government, but should not be invited on an official visit to the United Kingdom, where he's greeted and he gets the opportunity to shake hands with Her Majesty the Queen. Now, this petition, as you can see, it's constantly, the numbers are constantly rising. Already, it has close to 884,548 signatures. I've been watching, you can see over there, the numbers are constantly going up as we see. And over here, as far as the United Kingdom government is concerned, the Parliament considers any sort of signature campaign, a petition which receives anything, they consider it for debate, possibly discussion inside the Parliament if it has crossed 100,000 signatures. Here it is about 884 signatures. The United Kingdom government can also respond to any such petitions if it has crossed 10,000 signatures. Now, this is already going close to 1 million. Very soon, it has 1 day before it closes, the petition closes, and already it has enough signatures to warrant a debate of sorts. It's not guaranteed, of course, to warrant a debate of sorts on the floor of the United Kingdom Parliament in terms of having some amount of discussion on the same. Now, this is an individual's petition. It did not have anything beyond 400 signatures until the end of November last year. But suddenly, in the last few hours, since those executive orders were issued by the Donald Trump administration, which basically restricted the entry and the stay of citizens of 7 Muslim-majority nations, which include Iran, Iraq, Syria, Yemen and Sudan and Somalia as well. Suddenly, the signature campaign has picked up pace, and there seems to be a growing momentum. Several British diplomats have also come forward condemning those executive orders, and already Prime Minister Theresa May has had to issue a statement where she says that the United Kingdom does not support the executive orders, the move, the sentiment behind that move by the Trump administration.
It's very interesting to note, Paulomi, as we continue to speak, we're looking at those numbers only growing by the second as you were speaking to us on this particular issue. But thanks very much for joining us for a moment. with those details that are coming out of United Kingdom. Meanwhile, many reactions coming in from within the country. Let's take a listen in.
Whatever America does today will have a universal reaction, which they do not understand. If Trump's policies are going to be very, very unfavorable for India also, and more than that, it is a humanitarian issue also, because for many reasons, people are to leave their countries and they are to seek asylum. So if America, one of the most developed countries in the world, if they say that we will not admit refugees, that too on religious basis, religious grounds, then it is most unfortunate. It is a shame, it is a disgrace on the America's democratic credentials and track record.
India will be only one of many countries to try and put some kind of pressure on the US to reconsider these policies. Remember, this is only one of a number of executive orders or a number of policies Mr. Trump is signing or is intending to sign. The ban on 6 nations, according to the Trump government itself, could be extended to other countries as well. The second part of it is really that that these will affect not just Indians who are going to the US directly from India, but Indian Americans from other countries as well.
When you get a leader of this kind who unashamedly uses all the base emotions and arouses all the base shameful emotions of a person to win an election, builds fear into them and uses fear and the kind of image of enmity of the other to win elections, then these kind of feelings will come up. I think it is a very, very worrying signal, and I'm not sure that the American government is actually going to understand what it is up to and stop it. I think they will only in some way or the other encourage, and that is going to be an extremely worrying thing. Let's hope it doesn't happen in the scale in which some of us fear it may happen, but it could happen in the US.
Well, the least said the better about Mr. Trump. He's the elected president of the United States of America. But I think that some of his statements, including the ban on visas to citizens of 7 Muslim countries, does not augur well, either for globalization or for a world, one world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam was the philosophy that India gave to the world, and I think what the President-elect of the United States has said goes contrary to our grain and contrary to the unity of the world as a whole.